Well, today's video is on the upcoming presidential election and the recent news of President Joseph Biden dropping out of the race. Man, we never saw this one coming, did we? This is a follow-up video to the video that I just recently did on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. A lot of things happened in my mind that day. First of all, I was like, that's divine intervention. You know, if you don't believe in God, that is like something that would make you want to believe, right? Like you don't ever see things like that. That was really something that was crazy. But what was crazier is for the last couple years, we've all seen Joe Biden falling down stairs, Joe Biden falling off a bike, Joe Biden tripping over his words.
I mean, and his administration, look, we finally beat Medicare.
And this is a guy who for a lot of his career was completely articulate. He lied a lot. The guy was sharp.
It really is going to take someone who's going to be able to take on the insurance industry. They spent $250 billion. They're going to spend $500 billion this time.
I mean, billionaires in America.
So anybody who's been paying attention to anything can tell you that this guy has been drastically on decline, probably before the election even started in 2020. My question to you is, do you think that he should have stayed in the race? Number one. Now, number two, why did all of a sudden Kamala Harris just automatically get elected to be the Democrat nominee? It's not like it actually went to a vote. It just happened. And I hear a lot of people online like, what happened to democracy? Well, I'm just curious, man. Like if you are in the Democratic Party or if you're in the Republican Party and your nominee was just chosen for you versus going through the actual electoral process or going through the voting process, kind of seems like, you know, they're just putting whoever they want. A lot of people wanted RFK, like RFK's running right now. You know, I don't think he'll get elected strictly because of his voice. I think that that's going to be a big problem for him. And a lot of people might say that's a rude thing to say, Troy, but I think it's on a lot of people's mind. And I think that as the voice of the nation, it's going to be a hard thing for him to overcome. He says it out loud. He knows his voices. He can't stand hearing himself talk. And I feel so bad for the guy, but I mean, shouldn't he be the Democratic nominee? Like he's been in the race. He's been trying. Why did they automatically pick the vice president? Let's talk more about Joe Biden. He has been touting his accomplishments, saying that they have the most secure border, which I find that completely, to be honestly, just a pathological lie, that they have the best economy. This is the absolute worst economy that I have seen since 2008 into 2012. You know, this is like the absolute worst economy. Interest rates are at an all-time high. Gas is at an all-time high. Unemployment, I don't know where it's at, but you can't hire anybody to save your life. So like, there's no question that this is one of the worst. The stock market might be high. That's fine. The demand for labor might be high. That's true. But the economy overall, people are suffering. People can't afford nothing. And we're shoveling all this money to this war that has nothing to do with us. We're letting people in the country. That's a little bit of my thoughts about this situation. Joe Biden, he's a lifetime politician. So I've got a couple things to say about that. And I'd love to have your opinion. First of all, I do not believe that people in politics should be able to stay in politics their entire life. Like, I just don't believe it. I think there should be term limits on everything. There should be term limits on the presidency. Not even term limits. There should be limits on people who are in the bureaucracies that run the country, right? It's just absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And so when you give people a lot of power, they want to stay and control that power. How does a lady like Nancy Pelosi, who's been making $120,000 or $200,000 a year, who dresses to the nines, who's got more money than God, how does she get rich? Well, she's in politics. She does insider trading. Her husband does it for her. She gets all these deals, and that's just not fair. It's not fair to you as a citizen. It's not fair to me as a citizen. It's not fair for the American people. I just want to talk about like how our democracy is crumbling right now. But I think a couple things need to happen. Is like, number one, I don't think that I would ever vote for somebody who didn't have children. Prior to having children, I probably wouldn't have said that. And I don't know, my decision's not made yet, who I'm voting for. I'm not going to vote for somebody who doesn't have children. When you have children, you view the world differently. You view the world as not just yourself, but the people that are coming behind you, the generation that's coming behind you, and how you're going to make it safe for them. When you are you and your husband or you and your wife, and it's just for you guys, it's a different game. If you look at Donald Trump, you can say what you want about him, but if you look at all of his children, they're involved with their dad, they're in the family business, they seem to be well educated, they seem to be driven, they seem to have good families, they seem to have good family values. And then you go to the opposite. So you got Hunter and Ashley Biden. So Hunter Biden, I mean, this guy is just a piece of work. Number one, he's got all these jobs, which, listen, if you are voting for Joseph Biden, you've got to know, like, if I was looking at Donald Trump and I was looking to vote for him, not saying who I'm voting for, If I was looking to vote for him and I saw that, oh, Don Jr. just got a job with a Ukrainian oil company, he's making X number of dollars, that would be like, this guy's not on the level. There's all these things going on with Hunter Biden and nobody seems to give a good goddamn. Not to mention, they found crack. There's a whole situation where he rented a car, wrecked the car, drove it across the country, high on drugs, turned it in, and they swept it under the rug. There's that whole situation. Then he turns in the laptop. It's got all sorts of pornography on it, all sorts of pictures of him naked, doing drugs, doing all these types of things, and nobody cares about it. I believe if my children turn out like garbage, I did a bad job. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You could say I might be wrong, I might be right. If you look at Hunter Biden, you see a lot of suffering. And then you look at Ashley Biden, she wrote a diary about her father. We could put it up there, we're not gonna say it, but it said what it said. My question to you is, if you were voting for Joe Biden, are you happy with the decision that was made for you to line up with Kamala Harris, right? And if you are happy with that decision, do you feel like you had a decision, or do you feel like they made the decision for you? Are these really the best candidates that they have out there? Is this really the democracy that you think you have? Your freedom, your liberty, all that stuff, your privacy, it's gone, right? You don't have it anymore. What I would like to see for whoever's the next president is us get back some of our personal freedoms, liberties, and rights. Yes, I know with technology advancing, we really are giving up a lot of things to get a lot of things. Like we're giving up some of our privacy, but there's no reason that like they should be suppressing what we see. They should be able to take all of our stuff. They should be able to manipulate digital currency so that we're basically a commodity. That's not fair and that's not right. So whoever you vote for why you are an American citizen. Freedom, liberty, free speech, and all of the things that you love about America. And if you don't like the other guy, at least make sure the reason that you don't like him is not because of what they say, it's because of what they did. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Love to hear who you're voting for, and I'd love to hear your opinion, your comments, even if you don't agree with what I gotta say. That's why we're in America, so we can have a conversation.